Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TOA Canada Corporation. Welcome to the VX3000 training today. So for those joining us on the Microsoft Teams, can you hear me clearly? Or if you see me on the screen, can you give me a thumbs up? Thank you. It's great. Let me introduce myself and our team. My name is Ken. I'm the Product Support Manager. I'm responsible for overseeing the system design team, handling technical inquiries, and managing warranty issues. Joining me today is Narendra, our support technician. Is also responsible for the design, support, and warranty issues. Before we begin, please feel free to check outside our coffee, water, some refreshment. It's available outside. So here is our agenda. There will be two sections, the morning section and the afternoon sections. So in the morning section, we're focusing on the introduction of the hardware. And in the afternoon sections, we'll focus on the software, and then we will do some live demonstration of the software, how to set up the software, how to do the setup between the systems. Before we start, I would like to take this chance to introduce some of our global installation for the VX3000. Actually, the VX3000 is already in the market more than 10 years. So over the world, you will see different installations. So the VX3000, for now, we are targeting to medium to large size of projects. So as you see from Germany, this project is Westfield. It's kind of a mall with a shopping mall with some working and living and entertainment and all over in this particular place. And you see there is more than 19 or 18 system racks full of VX3000, and which is individual connected through LAN. So this one is in Japan. It's a very famous resort. So people will go there for skiing and for vacation. And also it's overseas by the VX3000, and especially for some emergency situation. Because the VX3000, the background is not just a PA, it's not just a background music, it's an emergency system for you to just do that kind of announcement clearly and thoroughly. So this one is back in Poland, and also with a lot of the PA system and also the emergency alarm system in a kind of a big venue. So this one is in Canada. It's in Edmonton. It's in progress. So basically, they divide in three phases. So we already they already installed the VX2000 in the SX2000 in the first phase. So now they are going to do the second phase, and also the third phase is coming. So also they will renew the first phase equipment for the particular stations. So each station will have its own emergency system with the VX3000 looking over it, and also with our TOA speakers, weather resistant speakers. So you will imagine back in Edmonton, it's a very cold area. So under this particular climates, and our systems can withstand it well. Okay, let's start our system introduction. So this is a network-based systems. So it connect through Ethernet switches. So we would highly recommend you use the RSTP network switch in order to have that redundant capability. So because of that, this is a life-saving system, emergent system. So there's a lot of different surveillance and different kind of redundant measures in those hardwares. So the network device back in Europe, they use O-ring, the brand called O-ring. The O-ring is it can be connected through fiber optics, and also has the RSTP, but not necessary to use that particular brand, but the similar or alternative brand will be fine for our system connection. And also it has the ability to send out an emails in case of any failure of the CPU or any particular events. You can set it to send out some maintenance emails from the system, get as an alert. Also, you can set up some maintenance through system network and at any port or any place at any location, and then you can do the setting and the maintenance as well. You can set up to 8 frames, but without using any additional Ethernet switch. So in some of the cases or some of the scenario, you don't want to deploy any switch or any security issue. So you can have a possibility to use 8 frame connect daisy chain without additional Ethernet switch. And use to have 100-bit Ethernet, no need for 1 gig. If you want to know more about the switch requirements or the switch specification, I will talk to you after the meeting and then give you some kind of a suggestion of the switch, the network switch. So for the VIX 3000, the maximum frames you can add up to 160. But this 160 frames is the maximum of the VIX 3000. So for the single system, the maximum you can go is 40 VX 3000 units. But you add up, you can have 40 system. That means that makes you have a 160. That's the maximum size of the frames. And you can have 1280 remote microphone. I will explain what the remote microphone means in a second. Almost 2,000 external audio source. Around 1,000 EV messages. 2,560 songs. Control inputs and control outputs. Those are we'll discuss a little bit later, and you will know more about the features and the control inputs and outputs. What was they doing? So VX3000 is a decentralized system. So there's no master, no PC required. Decentralized system has obviously advantage in multiple buildings, such as this example. Less speaker cables, of course. So nowadays the speaker cable is quite costly. So when using this decentralized system, you can just run fiber optics or run the Cat6 or Cat5 cable in between the buildings and between the systems. So this is another example was suitable, particularly for some wide area networks. Because this system is not only aimed for small location, just like a shopping mall or warehouses. You can also put it in different location of your application, different buildings, and then you can through the system can go out to send and any emergency messages and do some emergency paging. So for example, in case there's a fire, they will have a local call out emergency through the RM mic, the remote control mic, and get notification to other buildings. So 3000 is a flexible system. What I mean flexible means it's not just only a emergency system. It's also combined, can combine with other like a audio system, like a audio input, BGM, paging, and emergency broadcast. So most of the time when you take a look of the existing market system, some of them only have the PA capability. Some of them only focusing on the emergency side of this of the paging. But TOA, the VX3000, capable to do both better and give you a flexibility. This is what I call the flexibility of the system. Local audio inputs, control in, control out. This is very important when you try to use make use of the system to do some kind of a logic or sequence or sequence of action of move. So the amplifier modules. So we are not the system is not just an entire amplifier or a processor. So it's a frame, and you put in the different amplifier modules to provide you a flexibility for, well, in case of any failure of your amplifier, I can just do a swap. And also it equipped with the EQ and delay and all the equalization. So particularly good for BGM, some location or some application you need to have a signal processing. This is a very powerful system, including that kind of features, functions. Indications. Indications means on the front panel, the operators can quickly see what happens on the frame. What's the sound level? Is it going to peak? Is it going to peak out, or is there any failure? Any signals is going on, and this is the indication on the front panel. So we have 3 frames. You will see in a second. So 3 different frames serve different purpose. So you can have a combination of the 3 different frames, different application, or you can just deploy the same frames and particular application. I will show you in a second. Direct zones. So as I mentioned, there's a direct amplifier module. You can select direct zone or use a speaker selector to enable the zone selection for some simple application. For our Canadian market, so we have 3 types of power modules: 100 watts, 200 watts, and 350 watts for 70 volt. And this system also be able to do 100 volt. But for the 100 volt, a little bit different for the voltage: 150, 250, and 500 for the 100 volt. But for Canadian market, we focus on those voltage. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the component. Okay, as I mentioned about the components, so we have 3 frames for different applications, 3 digital type of amplifier modules, as I mentioned, 1 line output module. For some of the application, you don't need any power amplifier modules to give you a flexibility to have a line output to another amplifiers, to another amplifier for another applications. So we have a remote microphone for the with expansions mean you can add more more device on this for expansion for the keys expansions. Run remote microphone with LCD display. Pre-amplifier mix matrix panel. I will show this in a second. One control panels. Control panels control in and control out, and power management. So the frame is not directly plugged in to the AC outlet, so it needs to go through the our power supply with a 24 volts of power supply, and also give you a flexibility to put in the battery as a backup, and then so provide power to the particular frame. It's not directly hooked up to the main AC unit. Okay, so let's talk about the VX3004, 3004. So I believe this one will be most of the time you will be specified most often. It takes up four power amplifiers. So you see there's 4 slots. There's 4 little vents there. You can put a 4 slot. For those who can see here, we have a rack. So this is the VX3000, and you see that particular the second one without the front panel. That's the VX3004 with 4 slots for 4 amplifier to put in for slide in for 4 amplifier modules, and it divides into A and B zone. So this one a little bit confusing, but I will explain this in a bit. Up to 2 kilowatts live performance per frame, and up to 4 audio buses. Audio buses means we have 4 amplifier different buses for you to use it. So for the 200 kilowatt is 400 volt line. So if you are talking about 70 volt, so the maximum of the power module we have is the 350. So it's also under that particular 2K watts limitation. So the second one is the VX 3008. So I called it the flexible. So the difference between the 308 and the 304 is the 308 has 8 zones. But for the 304, usually people will use it as a BGM and paging combination applications. So for 308, they use a speaker selection configuration, and it's different from the 3004. So it's flexible for you to use it, particularly for some 8 zones applications, and you can have the A and B. So what I mentioned, the A and B's, you can split the power between A and B. So that makes it more flexible compared to 304 when you're using when you want to more focusing on paging particularly. So for 304, usually for BGM and paging, 308 usually for paging more oriented. So let me back to the 308 just a little bit. So you see there's a 3 vents there. So you maximum can have 2 modules there and 1 for the backup. So you see the slot you can put in the backup, and also the 304 you can also put in 3 amplifier modules and 4 amplifier module, 1 for backup. In case of any amplifier failure, you can take over by the backup amplifier. And also the backup amplifier has the ability to help the other frames. I will explain that in a second. So the third one is the 3016. We call it efficient. So this one is a plain. 16 zones with a speaker selector frame of so let me take a look of take a bit closer look for the each frame. So this is the 3004. So this is a frame for 4 power amplifier modules. So 4 A and B zones and 3 A and B zones with 1 standby amplifier. So for A and B zones, meaning it's just wired in a stereo. Basically, you can think of it as kind of a stereo output. So or 3 AB zones with 1 standby amplifier. So for the AB, it won't. So AB share 350 watts. So it won't take you A for 350, B for 350. So 350 can share, only share can be shared with within A and B. And also there's 8 relay control outputs. And with 5M switchover contacts. There's a selection of NO and NC. And also this, I would say, is quite useful features with the speaker line surveillance with the impedance. So you can, after your installation, you can measure, you can initiate the impedance of your existing speaker impedance. And after that, we will use that as a reference in case of any variance or deviation of your the set value of your speaker line, the impedance, it will give you alert, and then you send you a alert on that speaker line.
Okay, there is a message from Mr. John. Why does the powerful VX3004 has less zone output compared to others?
Let's zoom output. Oh, okay. So basically for the 3004, it's it it targets for a little bit more small. You can have a capability to do a small application, because some of the application might not need that many channels or many channel outputs. So for example, like a small shopping mall or shopping uh, maybe have just only one floor, but have 4 different areas, 4 different zones. So we would choose this 304 as that kind of application for only 4 zones. But of course, if you have like 4 floors or 5 floors, and then you can have 5 of this 304, and then connect it through the network, and then they can also be communicated with each other. So this is kind of a different application selection. So it depends on your project. So if your project is a very a large places and with many different zones or outputs, so I would suggest only for paging, I would suggest we use 3016 instead of 3004. Yeah, and also. Yeah, also the power difference. Like 304 has a 350 watts per channel, so it also have give you a more power output for different channel of the frames as well. So you see the 308. I will explain in a bit for the 308 and 3016. So for 3084, you will see you can have 4 350 watts modules. So that's give you the most powerful output for the 304. And for the 304, it also has a DSP inside. So we can it has the feedback compressor, equalizer, and compressor and delay, and also has the ability to accept the ANC, the ambient noise control. So you can connect your ANC mic to do the adjustment for a different environment. It's a very noisy environment. It will bring up the level. Yep. So I can give you a mic, and then everyone can hear this.
Hello.
Yeah, the team will
Hello.
hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Gibson from Bosch Technology. I just want to ask if this model requires a zone expander for it. It's capable for a zone expander.
Uh, Itself, it cannot expand, but usually we will put another frame. Like for example, if you want more channels or more outputs, like for example, if you have 8 channel, but you want a maximum power other than 308, so we will recommend you to use 2 frames and then connect it through a network, and then those frames can be as used as 8 zones applications. Or in the future, if you want to add, so for future expansion, maybe in a rack, you can leave some space and then put in another 4 channel. But if the customer say, oh no, I just don't want any background music, I just want a paging. So maybe, and with more channels, like 8 or 16, at that point you can put in 308 or 3016 for expansion of the channel for the paging only. It's not for the BGM. Yeah, 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 yeah. That'll work. Is there any questions? Yep.
So there is this again question from John. What is the significance of more power amplifier for this unit with less zone output?
So again, so for the 304, why I say in most of the application you will use it because it's provide you 4 zones with more power, but it really depends on your application. If you have a more zoning requirement, but only paging, so we will recommend using the 3008 or 16. But for the 4 itself, you see, it's for me, it's more like on BGM plus paging and emergency applications together with a more power, the maximum power compared to the 3008 and 3016.
So can do we need an extra 120-volt circuit for every added amplifier?
Basically, the system only requires 24 volts. So we will see in a bit. I will explain that how you do the connection of this is I would say this is a DC system. So you don't you of course you need the power and also the power distribution, the power management system. Of course, it uses 130 volt, but after that the power management, and then we will connect the 24 volts to each frames. I will show you that in a second. So a little bit more on answering that 304 applications, like so zone with high power, like a event halls or tribunals. So the zones can be configured with his own program or own audio source, like shopping centers, rail station, airports. So here's an example for the 304. So you see, there is 4 zones and 4 different areas. You can broadcast or you can send out to different programs or different audio source for the different particular areas. So when there's two RM mic, you see there's the RM microphones. So you can select paging from there to particular area in the purple one, and also in the particular area in the red one for the paging only. So leave the green and blue untouched. And also you can trigger the emergency for all the zones or areas. Okay, for the 3008, there's two zones and one standby amplifier module. So we'll see three slots there. And there's 8 speaker selector zones as operated by the relay. And also is the 8 relay control output as well for the priority control or the attenuators. And also same as the 308, 304 as the 5M NC and NO switch contacts. And also it has the speaker lines at surveillance, same as the 304. It also has the DSP. After the introduction of the hardware, you will have more understanding of the selection of the different frames, particularly for the applications. Now we may seems a little bit confusing about the zone selection and the amplifier and the capability of each frames. It will make sense later. So for this particular 308, used mainly for similar to 304, but a little bit more for the larger zoning requirement. So here is another example for the 308. And because of this is a speaker selection features there. So it's a little bit different from the 304. So you see there's a two frame, two zone, for example, one for the BGM and second for the BGM as well. When you press it on the RM mic, and it will select for the paging zone 2. So you see this one, the flexibility a little bit lesser than the 304, but still depends on your application. If your application is just a simple paging application, and that's with your solution for this 308. Next one will be the 16, 3016. Similar to the 308, if it has a 16 speaker zone selector and 16 relay control, and also the speaker line surveillance. So, for example, you see there are two slots there. So if you put two 350 watts there, and then that means there will be 8 zones, 8 output and 8 output sharing this two amplifier wattage. But if you put in one, for example, one for 350 and the other for as a backup amplifier, so that the 16 channel will be shared at 350 wattage from that particular amplifier. So it really depends on your applications and the requirements of the customers. So there's a tables here. So this is a pure PA system. So a low cost and with 16 zone 350 or 8 zone per amp with 2 350 watts amp.
And there is another message from Peter. Do the amps support BGM ducking?
I believe so, but I'm not 100%. Oh, okay, yeah. Only 304 and 308 support the audio ducking. Okay, so let's take a look of the commonality between the frames. So in the front of the frames, so this also makes this 300 VX3000 stand out because you can see the status of the frames very easily from the front panel of the frames. You see all the status, the system status from power is running or not. Is there any emergency for the CPU? So I got a question before regarding that fixed freelance frame. If the CPUs fails, what happened? So it will still do the emergency paging, and you can override that CPU and do the emergency paging for the in case of any CPUs failing. And also the network status, is there any issue with the networks and the LAN and the remote microphones issues? And also the CPU can be bypassed using either RM200 microphone or the RM300X microphone in case of any particular issue. So here's the another part of the front panel. There's a mandatory fault indication. So if there's any faulty of the unit, it will have a mandatory fault indicators from there, and a fault acknowledgement and a lamp test and fault reset. So if you want to reset the emergency course, and then you can do the fault resets from here. The line status will be regarding your zone output. So if this is a 304, you will have four indicators for the A and B channel as well. So you will see all the status, what's going on with the system and with the output and input part. So this is the amplifier status for the amplifier power, operation and signal level. So all the lights you will see from the front panel there, the green light, you see that, and you will see the healthy or the health of the particular frame. So behind the front panel, just as that one. So when you remove the front panel, this is what you see. So you see four slots there for the amplifier to slide in. So this is the connector of the amplifiers. So this is for the you can see the firmware version by pressing that and also the dip switch for IP address setting as well. So this is the what I mentioned before, the impedance initialization. So after you hook up all the speakers, you press that button and you have the reference numbers. That reference number will be the number telling the system in case there's any problem with your impedance, it will just alert you if the numbers is not right or correct. ID setting. ID settings means if you have more than one frame, obviously you have to put in a different name for the particular frames. So this is the ID setting for set up for the different name of the frames for you to recognize those. There's a reset button, a hard reset button.
Okay. There's a message from Peter. How many RU are the frames?
Four RUs. We will also talk about the rack arrangement suggestion. So for how you prepare your rack assignments, how do you put the So we suggest for example, we suggest the battery put in the bottom of the frames, and then leave some space, 1U for ventilation, and for the power supply and on the frames. So we'll talk about that in a second. All three frames are for you. There's also an input gain for you to crank up or crank down the input gain. So this is the rear part, the rear view of the frame. So there's a audio output. So for some of you may not familiar with the ECH, the E means earth, C I mean cold, H mean hot. So it's for the balance input. And also this, besides it can accept any mic or line level. It also can accept the ANC mic, so we can connect the ANC mic in here and then to do the eminent noise control. So there's a remote microphone buses for maximum 8 RM for each bus. So there's A and B, so you can daisy chain 8 maximum. So analog links for the analog bypass. So this is very important for if you have any issue with the frames. So this particular analog link can link to the other M, can still function even if any issue with your CPU or a network down. You can use this one as the analog link to bypass all the issues. So this DS links is for the power supply surveillance. So you will see when we talk about the power management, and I will introduce the power supply. That power supply has the link to this frame, and then to tell the frames what's his status and for surveillance usage. Control inputs and voltage control surveillance is also a very helpful for surveillance, any particular issues with the voltage drop or any inputs for particular gauge you want to control, you want to surveillance. So this is another type of, control output, but this is fixed. You cannot assign anything. So this is a fixed control to control other frames for the fault, general fault or CPU off. So for the open collector controls a little bit complex, but some of the like a third-party device, they accept this kind of control, and also we have a capability to provide control or to provide message from here to the third-party device. So control input with surveillance. There's also can use as a third-party control to the particular frames. Redundant NAND ports. So we have A and B, so we can provide another B as a redundant network ports. So I will also provide you a more in-depth of the connection of the redundant LAN ports a little bit later. So in a later today of the training. So this is also another quite, I would say, a very good features of a VX3000. So you see there's an emergency control, that's kind of control, some analog link our in and out. And also this redundant LAN network port is all point to provide a very safe and controllable, and you will see what's going on with the system and in case of any failure. So this is a very good emergency system of for the emergency paging applications. So this is the different frame for the from the back of the frames. So we see the back there's a 8 speaker line output A and B for the 3004. 8 relay outputs. We talk about that. One standby amplifier buses. So this standby amplifier buses you can connect to another amplifier. So that's what I mentioned before. So if you have a backup amplifier in the first frame, you can share through this bus to the second or third amplifier. So you see that this is a 308 A speaker line output. This is SS9 speaker selector lines. Also have the 8 relay outputs, 1 standby amplifier bus, and 2 extension buses. Same. 3016, same, but I have a more speaker line outputs and speaker and a relay output. So let's talk about the amplifier module. So we have 3 amplifier modules. So what you see, the 150, 300, and 500 just for 100 volt. So for VX015DA in Canada market, there will be 100 volts for 70. Sorry, for 70 volt for 100 watts. So for the VX30 DA, there will be 200 watts at 70 and 50. VX50 DA is the 350 watts at 70 volts. So you see there's fans there, and there's filters there for you to clean it easily, and those are for full surveillance by the frames itself. So let's talk about the wireless, not wireless, the remote microphone. Let's talk about the remote microphone. So we have RM 300X and button expansion with RM 210F here. They are not Ethernet microphone, so don't connect to the network, it won't work. So it's transmit over RS485 and the audio over AES on the back channel. So this is the expansion unit. Expansion unit means you can add more buttons to do a song selection or song paging. So there's 13 free assignment buttons. 13 free is going to be here. There's 13 free assignable buttons. 10 free assignable buttons for the extension. This is the 210F. Expansion up to 7. Used as a normal and emergency microphone. So expansion up to 7. That means make you total. You have 83 plus this 3 here. So the next one is the Feynman microphone for the RM 200SF. Expansion with the RM 320F. So this is the emergency microphone. So in case that you have some kind of a requirement to use the emergency microphone, this is your selection. So you are going to use this as a emergency microphone. There's a three assignable buttons over here. 23 assignable buttons for the expansion unit, the 320. The maximum expansion unit is 4. So here's come the considerably a newer RM mic. Remember this RM 500. It doesn't come with any expansion because it has an LCD screen and all the buttons and can be assigned to on this particular unit. So the analog is a connection, or the RS connection can up to 800 meters. So if some kind of application, if you need very far away from the control panels or the security poles to the particular frames, so this is your solution. It's an LCD display, and unlike the one we are talking about. So this one is a general for general announcement only. It's not for the emergency paging, because there's no EN54 in for Europe market. You have 80 menu selections, and it's not as costly compared to the 300 and 210. Of course, you can assign the control input for the from this, but we recommend you use the emergency paging unit over this, because this is not meant to be the emergency core functions. Okay, all right. Let's talk about the another unit other than the frames. So you see all the frames, you see the inputs, but you see for the frames, there's a limitation for you to input your audio and control and relay. So that's if you want to expand, so what should you do? So this is one of your solution for this. So this is called a matrix panels, VX 3000 PM matrix panels. This is 1U. There's two connectors for the network connections, of course, same as our frame. So you can expand up to 8 audio inputs. So there's a 1 to 4 is a balance mic and line levels, which you can select, and 5 and 6 is unbalanced -20, and 4 to 8 unbalanced 0 dB. So I believe from Canadian market, so usually we have a 10 dB, -10 dB. So if you connect to 5 to 6, it might be a little 10 dB hotter than normal. There's a control, channel volume control in the front, you'll see here. So you can do a quick volume control. No need to go to the software to crank up and crank down the audio level. There's a 20 control inputs. There's more control inputs if you want to have more freedom on controlling for particular applications. So this is I believe it's quite sufficient for most of the applications for the control inputs, and 10 control outputs as well. That all can be set up by the software. And there's a front mount phone jack for audio input 1. You'll see here. So this is quite thoughtful. If you have some ad hoc or someone to test something, or some quick tests for audio, and then you can use this as a input. So unicast audio transmission over WAN connection. So as I mentioned, you see the picture we shown before. So you can connect the system through different buildings or different areas. So to do that, so usually we will use a WAN connection. But when you use the WAN connection, you have to deploy the PM VX3 PM in order to make it a unicast connections. Without that, you cannot do that. And one more notes for this is, well, that won't work with the RM mic. So the RM mic cannot page through the WAN to another unit. Only the audio side, only the audio input can be transmitted to another area, or you can use a mic, or you can use some paging EV message over the WAN through the PM, with a 3000 PM for the unicast configuration. So this is the back of the amplifier mixer panel. So there are two redundant port. Also, there's a DC power and audio input and the relay input and output. So if you have a application like you need to put all the frames in the control room, but how do you connect the input to the frame? For example, if there is a gym area or a store, a shopping mall, so you want to put it near to the operator. So this is also your solution. So you put in the PM matrix panel, so near to the operator, and you can connect the input to this particular unit, and through LAN to send over all the signal, the data back to the control room, which store your frames. And still, the emergency features can mute and also can bypass the audio you're playing by the emergency messages. Yeah. You mean the yes, yeah, yeah. I don't have the number of the limitation of the PM. Yeah. Let me do a quick check. Yeah, one frame. I believe there will be a limitation of the channel. So it won't have, so when you put in the PM, that means there's a 8 channels audio's input for this. So that means there will be a limitation for the maximum input for the frames to take to route. So you put like a 3 or 4 PM, there will be like a 32 channels. So that might be the limitation or maximum one. 40 over the network. Okay. So for the entire system, not only for one frame, there's a maximum for 40 PM for within a system, not only one frame. Within the system, the maximum is 40. It also will show in the software side. So you will see it in the afternoon section for that. So this is another example for you have different buildings or different place or areas. So this is one area with LAN connection through the PM, and this is another area with LAN connection to the frames, and then there's over the WAN connections. So just a quick look up to the software. So this is the frame, and this is the PM. You see the PM is hooked up to the frame here. And there is a connection through here. That so when, as I mentioned before, the maximum units of the frame, the per system, that's 40. So you will see that's a PM, that's a PM. So each PM to each frame, that means that's a maximum 40. I would say that's the maximum unit of the PM. Let me see. Let me check with the software. Let me get back to you on this. I believe only 1 PM to the 1 frames, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me double check with the software to get back to you. Okay, so besides the PM, we have a VX3000 CT called a control panel. Same as the frames and the PM, there's a two LAN connectors for the redundant connections. There's no audio inputs. It's only as a volume control and the input and output. So it gives you more flexibility for you to do some. We put in same as what we discussed before. We put in the gym or put in the shopping mall, and then for the operators, they might not very familiar with our software settings. They can just crank up and down from here, and also by triggering the buttons, and they can also do some different kind of events from there. So for the 8 function keys, song selections, patterns, start and stop, and so all these patterns and events can be set up in the software. And also particularly for the emergency warning, broadcast from here, and you can press those buttons. Those buttons are assignable. Yeah. Let me double check this for you. So this is the back of the VX3000 CT. It's also connected to the DC, and there's a IP setting diff switch over here, and it connects to the LAN, same as the PM. And so this is the quick view of the software side. You will see there's a volume control setting from here, 1 to 8, and 1 to 9 for the key buttons setups or settings. You can have different patterns and different messages to trigger, or volume output adjustment for the volume, or input adjustment for the frames, and you can name different inputs and outputs from here. So the next one is called the VX300 LO. It's the line level output module. So what it does is when you don't want to use the slide in amplifier, you can use this module as a line output modules to connect to external amplifier. So this is a balance output. And there's a fine adjustment for the output volume, potentiometer just a gain adjustment from here. So you can just connect it similar to what you do with the amplifier, the slide-in amplifier module. So you use the same track to put it there, and then connect the cables with this particular arrow to the back of the frame, just like the power amplifier modules. And then you will have a audio output from here that connect to the external amplifier. And there's a security cable clamps and here, and then it's included in the unit.
There is a message from
Yep.
Luis. Can we assign to control only BGM or only paging in specific zone?
Yeah, you can do that. So you can assign through the control. Yes, you can assign only the particular zones for PGM, for the BGM, or for particular paging, or both. Yeah, so this is the quick look of the software setting for the VX300 Aero unit. So you either select, if you put in the power amplifier module, so you will select what's the rating of your amplifier module, or if you put in the arrow and then you select this particular arrow unit to tell the frames you are not using the power module, you're using the line output module. So after the LO, the line output module, so here comes the power management we are talking about. So we are using this VX2000DS and power emergency power supply. So this is a 3U. Yeah, this is a 3U unit. So so it provide power, maximum power for 5 amp, and provide the power, the DC power for the frames. So it also requires a mean wells. What's mean well power supplies? Let me quickly show you. So this is the mean well power supply. So you see down there the silver one. So it holds 3 slots of power supply. Or 3 slots, and totally it can provide. One each provide 1,000, around 1,000 watt. So at 24 volt. So approximately 40 amp. So it provides 24 volt for the frames, and also for the battery charging as well. So that means you need a frame of this power supply. You need a DS power supply. You need this power modules to provide power And then you also the frame. You also need the module to connect to the this frame to provide power supply for the frame and also for the rechargeable battery as well. So, but we do not provide the rechargeable battery. We provide the power supply module, the power supply frames, and also the DS. But we can recommend you the model and the name of the batteries, the rechargeable batteries. And also this frames, the modules, can be done with a hot swappable. So it won't you won't need to turn it off and then try to swap the module. If there's any issue with the module, you can just do it lively. You can do a hot swap of those power supply module. Yes. Yeah, also. So I just want to add something about that uh, the network switches for the for the for the frames. So we we suggest to use the RSTP rapid responding tree protocol switch. So the reason behind that is because this you see we have two LANs, redundant LANs A and B. So when you deploy with the RSTP switch, that means it will be more faster for you to recover the system. It's kind of a self healing. So it will find the path to find the workable path within the switch more faster. So that's why we suggest to use the RSTP network switch. Of course, if you don't use that, it's fine, but that the recovery time might be not that fast, firstly, or might be not that sometimes might just stuck there, might not work properly for the for if we have a kind of redundant A and B network uh, uh, features and functions here. So we highly recommend you use the RSTP uh, uh, switch to connect to the A and B. I will show you the I can share with you the connection. It's in the manual, but I can share with you how should the redundant of the LAN A and B connection is going to be. So is there any questions so far? Or any kind of question in the
There is another message from uh, Abu. So can we connect the devices to a PoE port in the switch to be sure that would not damage any port?
Hmm. Uh, so usually when you connect the because the device is not no need to use the PoE power, but usually the switch itself will sense what you are using. So if you require the PoE power, it will enable that PoE power. So it shouldn't be any issue, even if you put in connect to the PoE power switch, network switch, because this is all depends on the switch side. Yeah. So
tied to their switch, for
Mm.
instance.
Yeah.
So if we were to use like, if you have any recommendation of a certain switch brand with like a pre-configured configuration per se, that way it's kind of like it makes so that for our size more like sort of like a plug and play kind of scenario, because whenever tying into their network, where it want to be just isolated on our own.
Mm.
So we have a decentralized system, but let's say in a courtroom, whatever, for instance, you have like a bunch of different zones everywhere, hallways, maybe hallways area, prisoner areas, all that kind of stuff. So is there like a switch that you would have like a pre-configured settings for, like the RT SVB that you're saying?
Mhm.
That way for us, it's more like just a plug and play. We just get all the correct components, put everything in, program it, and done.
Mm.
Is there something like that, or do we have to rely on sharing network ports and stuff?
Mm. So yeah, thanks for the question. So we don't have any specific requirements for like how to set up the network or QoS. So, but only one suggestion is the recommendation is the RSDP. So RSDP features on your switch itself. So of course, if in some particular networks and environment, if they mix with other networks, that might be a little bit issue because the frame, it won't take so much bandwidth. So it shouldn't be cause any issue with that because this is not a very intensive live streaming device or happens through over the network or between the frames. So and with that, so if of course is there the possibility to put it in a VLAN, that would be much better. But we haven't have any issue with even the system is hooked up with other network environments. But I'm not guaranteed because I'm not so sure about the actual environment of the network it's going to be. But there's no particular or specification of your setting of the network on the particular VX3000 system. It's more on the redundant side. We want more focus on the RSTP features only. It's the just want to the 100 megabit network is already sufficient. So it's not a very heavy network traffics between the but when you're talking about the WAN, that may be another i- uh, issue between buildings, for example, because they're streaming at unicast. If you keep streaming unicast, that might cause a heavy load on the particular uh, traffics on the internet. So if that's the case, need to be fine. Need to look at how many different locations or buildings you want to do this kind of communication, like between how many buildings and how many audio channels, and at that point we can maybe calculate the total bandwidth and then request from the internet or the ISP or the IT to see whether you can capable to that kind of for that kind of particular applications for the unicast. So is there any question in the So follow up with the first section. The second section will be also focus on the hardware part and in a little bit more deep manner. So and it will also mention some kind of the connection or the way how it connects and for the particular applications. So we'll give you some kind of example as well. So before we do that, why don't we take a short break, like a 5 minutes break? It's okay, yeah, and then we can come back at 10. 26 to start our second half of the hardware introduction. Thank you. So shall we start? So we start at the second half of the hardware. So second half will be presented by Narendra, my good colleague. Okay. Sure.
Hello. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Narinder Kumar, and I'm working with the TOA Canada as a product support. So I will be here for the explain the function of the system. What are the functions is there? And also we will discuss about the installation section. It will be very basic in the introduction, how we can connect the power supply, how the system will work with the, if we want to expand the frames, and yeah, we will go little bit about the connections and all. So shall we start? Sure. So let's start with the audio broadcasting. So in the frames, we are right now we are discussing about the when we talk about the audio signal from one frame can be mixed. So we are talking about 3004 and 3008 only, because 16 is a standalone only. In 16, basically we are using for paging. Either we can use for paging or we can use for BGM. We cannot like mix the signal in a 3016F. So this audio signal can be mixed for paging. It could be a BGM. It could be the aux input, maybe the emergency. So it's totally depend on the customer requirement, how they want to use. And it can be for a small event, maybe for a temporary discussion, music or speech. And then audio signal from the multiple frames can be mixed. So for example, in one rack, we have 4 different type of frames, and we can take audio source from any of the frame and we can feed to any other frame. So which can make this system more flexible. This we can use only for the speech. This is not for like for any events or anything, because there is a latency is there, which is in terms of speech or emergency messages, or in terms of PA, maybe we will not recognize. But in terms of if we have any big event like an orchestra or something, uh, which is not be able to fulfill from this system. And there is another feature of this system is a fade in and fade out BGM. So when we turn on the system, the BGM it will not start like on the same level. So it will start like slowly from like a 50 dB, it will go to the 60s, 65, maybe we set 70 dB, and it will go slowly. And even we turn off the system, it will not sudden break. So it will be go slowly down as long as we have a battery backup. So that make this system more like flexible. So especially in big areas like a metro station, like malls and other area, we will not even get to know the music is start or off. But people will not notice this thing because of this feature, fade in, fade out. And yeah, ducking system is there, and that we can set how much BGM we want to decrease when we will do the paging. Yes, let's come to the features. Uh, Audio volume we can adjust. Either we can adjust from the frame itself. It have the you can adjust the volume through the screwdriver. It have the 4 separate variable resistance there, so which we can increase and decrease the volume. And also the volume can be set through the setting software. So we can do from there. So in this one, as we discussed before, like we can send to the any input to any output. So it's totally up to the system how we want to design the system. So we can see the example is the tuner is connected to the separate frame, and CD player is connected to the separate frame, and MP3 player is on maybe on a third frame. So we can route this inputs to the outputs within the local network. As long as it's a single rack, it's a local, we can route any input to the any output. So the general broadcast we can activate through the control input, or we can do through the control by the RM microphone. And it's a free assignable broadcast from source to zone. It could be a EV message, it could be music source, can be assigned to any zone or anywhere. So we can see here we give the RM microphone. This is not only the paging microphone, all the keys is assignable. Like how the normal paging microphone, we just select the zone and we press the switch and we start talking. In this RM microphone, we can assign the each key. Either I just press this key, it could be a emergency message, it can be a control out, it can be a EV message, maybe I want to start the aux. So each button we can assign to a specific input output. Even we can adjust the volume from the this keys. Like I want to adjust this particular zone volume from this key. It can be like a single press, it can be multiple press, so which is assignable. uh,
Output of the fact that the software. So the software, something if software is setting like a level, so hang up all the way up.
No, but if you want it louder, you set lower. At frame level?
Yes, that term.
Better to do with the software than.
Audio input of an audio source at RM assigned to any zone. So as we discussed, we can assign any input to the any output through the RM microphone. The second one is the recorded messages. The system have a capability of 1024 messages we can store to the system. It could be an emergency message, it could be a broadcast, for a general broadcast, for a BGM. The system, it have a limitation up to 68 minutes. So either you put one message, which can be a 60-minute or maybe 68-minute, or we can divide into 1024 messages, which can be 4 seconds per message. If we calculate everything, like a 68, we multiply by 60, it will become the seconds, which will be 4080 seconds, and we can divide by 1024. So per message will become like 4 seconds. No, this is a fix. It's a limitation of the system. It's a maximum. We can go with the 68 minutes, which we can divide into maybe one message. We can divide into 1024. It's totally up to us. No. And Yes, in this case, we can use the our TOA. We have the repeaters. We can use that repeater, and we can use a control out from the frame, and which can trigger that, and we can assign to any particular output. So this is exactly the custom system. This is like we can do with the different ways. It is. So the playback can be repeat, maybe in a one time, two time, or whatever you want. In terms of BGM, if we have like a 30 minutes any music source, so we can put on repeat, so it can be repeat automatically. And there is a system requirement is there, which is the audio file. Audio file should be in waveform. It should be 48 hertz, 16 bit, and it should be mono. And in terms of like there is an emergency, and during the emergency, like for example, the emergency was in a zone 1 only, and during the emergency, system at the zone 2. And in that case, the system, it can start the message from the beginning, or it can just repeat the message from where it's going. It can be just at the zone during the message. So for example, in terms of siren, we no need to repeat the message, which can go anywhere, or something emergency, very short message, fire, fire, so which can be, or if it's a long message which have more detail, that should be repeat from the beginning. Yes, there is a another slide is the control inputs. So control input is the system have total three RJ45 connectors. Two RJ45 connectors is for normal control input, and one is for the emergency control in. Uh, it's RJ45. Exactly. In this case, we have to use Cat6e only, because the 1 to 8 is a contact input 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4 till 8, and the shielded will be common.
Yeah, we do. We have to break out that little thing.
Sure. And there is a two activation mode for the input. It should be pulse, or it should be level. So the difference between both is like how we discuss about the RM microphone. If we press like the pulse I can set is like a 1 dB. So one time if I press, it will increase the volume or decrease the volume 1 dB each press. So we have to do the multiple time. And the level is, if I put one time, I press one time, it will be set to the fixed level. And two activation mode, make or break. So the make, the break is only work with the level only. So the make is the, if we want to use the pulse, its only option is a make. We have, whenever the contact will make, it will work. And for the break of function, it's only work on level. So either it can be when is a contact is open, the level will be this, or contact short, level will be this. Surveillance of each control input is selectable. So this you will discuss in software section. So, but yeah, each control input we can do the surveillance. So let's discuss about control out. We have two different type of control outputs. First is we have a RJ45 connector, which is basically used for like a door contacts or maybe for the basic electronics where we don't need much voltage because it have a limitation is like a 0.10 sorry 10 milliampere with 28 volt only. And second, we have a relay, which is work is like normally open, normally closed, which we can use 2 milliampere to 5 ampere, and which is even we can use 120 volt direct AC supply to that relay inputs. Is the same way as a two activation method, which is pulse and level. So pulse we can pulse is assignable between the 1 second to 60 second. So if we press one time, we want to know how long the contact will be closed. And then two activation mode of the relay. This is only for relay, normally open and normally closed, which is available in the relay section when we select the relay contact out. Pardon? It can. It can be. So that's why we select the level and pulse. So in that case, we have to select the level. So it will be stay there. So there is a emergency function is there is a 32 sequence with 3 phase. So in terms of emergency, each there is a 32 different sequence. We can assign the emergency in 3 different phase. So this is the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 and phase 2, we can assign like 1 minute to 20 minutes. So during the 1 to 20 minutes, the phase 1 will be go, and after 21 to 40 will be the second phase, and after that it will be the final phase. And again, there is the same thing which we discussed before is a 1024 emergency pattern, which can be used as a sequence. We can use a zone. We can use a control out. It's totally depend on the system requirement. So in some case, we want to use the control out for the emergency gates. So in terms of emergency, we want to open all the gates. So the system is capable for that thing as well. Local emergency, when we have a local emergency in a particular zone, it will not, if system will not affect the other zones. So other zone will be work as it should be work, normal BGM and normal paging. It will be going on. So this is what we discussed before as well. So on the time of emergency, so we can either repeat the message or we can start from the wherever it is. So it will just add the zone according to that. So this is a very important part of the VX3000 system, the speaker line surveillance. So in the other like other systems, sometimes we have to use end of line devices, which is like sometimes we have to take the last output and again give feed to the system. But in VX series, we don't have to do anything like that. In VX series, we have to tell the system this is the impedance, each line impedance. So which we should have to measure through the multimeter. Then we can tell to the system, okay, this is the impedance of this zone. So, and after that, we can assign like if it's go less 50%, then we will consider as a short circuit. If it's go like more than 100, which is 100 is like main our what value we put there. If it's go more than 100, then it will consider as a short circuit. So the system have a capability, and this system it can test the impedance every day. it's totally up to us how many time in a day we want to test the system, which you will see in a software part. No, it's automatically. No. Uh, if on that, before it was doing like this, but we have a new firmware update, it's like a 5.3. In that, we fixed this issue. Before what happening, like if we set the time on the during the paging, it system was doing the test on the same time. But right now, we fixed this issue, and now system check the free time when there's no paging. That time it doing the. But yeah, it will do on the same day, but in the free time only, not during the paging. Exactly. So, sir, want to know either the speaker line surveillance. It can be like as I mentioned, it will be test or check every day automatically. And the question was they want to know if it's during the paging, like is the same time when system have to test the speaker line, and on the same time we have a paging or EV messages. Either system is capable to do both thing or how it happened. So this was the question. So the answer is like before there was an issue with the system, and TOA new firmware update, which is 5.3, they already fixed this issue, and system on the time of paging and even for BGM, for the EV messages, the system stop the speaker line surveillance on the same time. So it will not test on that time. So it will wait for a free time to test the system. So there is a mandatory indication and button control. And so in a frame, we have the indication available of the fuse, power, CPU, then general, unit, network, and emergency microphone, which is on the front of frame, which indication like in terms of fault or whatever, it will be below. And there's a mandatory control is there, which is fault acknowledgement and the fault reset and lamp test. So it's here. So lamp test is when we press the lamp test, it will test all the indicators. So which is working fine. So it's a best way to like just go there and press the lamp test button. So we can test the system manually in this case. And there's some other indication, which is status and audio signal of each amplifier. So each amplifier, we can see the power, and we can see the operate, it's in operating mode or not. And then signal and peak is there. And then there is a fault for each zone. If it's the 16 zone amplifier frame, so there will be a 16 indicators, and if it's a 8 is 8 indicator, and 4 have the 4 indicators. And then it have the power, run, emergency, and CPU off. This is the basic function of the frame it will show. And there is the status of LAN, and also the RM microphones, which is the indicators on the frame. I didn't understand.
Okay, so you know how so if you've got a rack of gear locked up
in a LAN room or whatever, and you don't, the general operator does not have access to that, but they have a remote mic station at their desk. Can you relay if there's a problem back to that RM station? So then the operator looks down and goes, oh, I've got a red light on such and such.
No, there is a option for the email, which we will discuss in a software part. So in terms of failure, system send the email to the whatever the email we decide. So you will get the email notification. Yeah. So there is a two-way. Either we can go to the amplifier, we can see, or you will get the email notification.
Like that lights up the system full.
We can assign the control out for that thing, and but yeah, again we have to use something third party or something like which control, if we have the control out, we want to glow this indicator or something, so we can.
The only reason quite often, and that's one of the things that doesn't get changed. So, you know, person goes on vacation or whatever, and the person at the desk is looking, system doesn't work, they can really go, I've got a problem. I call them, they've got set up another way of contacting whoever has a problem. So they say, look, I got a red light here. Whoever's in charge of it, IT, you know, whatever it's gonna be, can go and then take a look and say, oh, don't worry about it, or, oh, we gotta look at this and do whatever.
If there's a control out related to this, so it's emergency, but it is for emergency. But if the system itself is failure, I believe only the email is standing out. So because it's already kind of a failure itself, so it cannot provide any particular alerts from the frame itself. But the frame can provide the emails alerts.
Like I said, it's always the one thing that it gets signed to, you know, Joe at whatever, right? And then Joe leaves or Joe's on vacation. What's he gonna do about it? No.
In this case, sir, we can add multiple emails, not only one.
That's great, but again, like Joe, Fred, whatever it's gonna be, sooner or later they leave or whatever. I mean, we go to places and I don't think I've seen the same staff twice. Right?
Totally understand.
Or use the some like emails alert relay some third party device some to
Yeah,
to,
just
to trigger it.
extra stuff. I mean, if
Yeah.
your system's that smart to do it, I mean, it would be nice just to have a little light that would light up to say,
Mm.
I got a fault. Can somebody please look at it? Right? Even though I'm not seeing the exact fault, I've got a fault. Can you go fix it or go look at it?
We will check this one, like if we have a more possibility or we can add some points on that one, we will let you know after the presentation.
Catching off his question. So let's say you have one frame that is just now hosted, right? So and then the next service guy that's coming in is not a programmer, so he knows nothing about the system. He's just basically kind of like a helping hand. So he comes there and say that we have in the shop, say an extra component with exact same gear, and we change the dial to the exact same ID, which is replacing that current component. Does the system is there any software that needs to be programmed onto that unit to make it work, or is it like where is this thing being stored, like the physical software? You know what I mean?
I totally understand. In terms of failure, and if we have to replace the unit, we can take a backup of the software and we can load the software again to the device.
Yeah. So so that means that you still need that to have that original software so somewhere.
Backup somewhere, yes.
So
Exactly.
Okay. So that's what I was wondering. Is that the guy would have no way to really do it if he didn't have that software, even though he had an extra component as a backup.
In this case, you have to at least program the take that file from the amplifier, which should be stored somewhere, and you have to tell to the system what exactly it have to do. Yes, you also have to assign the ID and also have to give the same IP address, and on the same time you have to let the system know what system have to do.
Understood. Has to have the kind of software on the cloud at all times somewhere. That way, I guess the next person who's troubleshooting it will access in case that component dies. Because even if you have a spare component and you know nothing about it, instead of them changing just one, just change the whole thing and just upload that program into that unit.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. So because this system is not a entire cloud-based system, so it's I would say it's like 70% relied on hardware side. You see, the dial is quite TOA way to do it, like a ID setting. So it's I believe this is an advantage for nowadays because sometimes we view heavily rely on cloud-based system in order for you to update it and also to trigger some kind of security issue. So I believe retain some kind of sort of analog side of the applications of the features that might be the good way to make it more robust and secure. So if the frame has to be replaced, and you have to physically set up the ID again, and load up the software again, and replace it.
The actual frame.
Uh,
So if it was on that device, one, you could expand the memory, but if you need to do a frame swap out, you take the card out of the bad one, stick it in the new one, you have set the ID, and then when you boot, it goes, okay, check for the thing, does its reprogram? So all your messages, all that stuff is there in the unit. So you basically
all the
your
settings and
downtime and your redundancy, and basically it's like, you don't need somebody that's got programming skills or network access or whatever. It's just go change that, go, right? I've been in that situation where you're the only guy in the shop and you're off doing something else, and the only other thing is like a shipper or whatever, and you go, here's a screwdriver, go change everything 1 to 1 and go do this and press the power button, go, right? Because it's, in hospitals, I mean, they get into what's a code gray. Yeah, stuff hits the fan real quick, right?
Yeah, good idea. Let's reflect this to the HQ, and maybe some days they can change them.
All the battery backup, you've got all the other functions there. It would just be, with that, it would be completely redundant system, and it would be secure because you're doing it right at that device. Like if you had 5 or 6 devices and they're all different, well, suck it up, buttercup. You got to do like 5 or 6 devices, right? You got to do the same procedure, but at least it's done, it's taken care of, and away you go. Plus the fact is, if the formatting or whatever of the SD card, or I'm just saying an SD card, could be anything, is set up, that message time could be expanded through that slot because it's using that card to do its message time rather than built-in hard memory into the unit.
Yeah.
Just thought.
So it comes down to what's the possibility of the frames or the module, amplifier modules downtime. So it's so usually the failure will be more on the amplifier module. So that's why it has this kind of preparation for the backup amplifier in the frame. So if you're talking about the frame itself, it's going to be failure. That might be an issue. We can think about it, and then maybe for the next.
Everything else redundant. So you got battery backup power. All the connectors are basically unplug, replug. You got all this stuff as long as they plug it in the right spot, which is part to do with the installation. But now you've got to get a computer. You got to get access to the switch. You got to get on the network. You got to do all this other nonsense. And if you don't have the copy of the program, because I've been in LAN rooms. You're not getting cell signal to go pull a file down from outside. You're deep in the heart of the building. And some places we go into, for instance, if you go into a casino, you ain't getting Wi-Fi. You're not getting anything. It's Faraday shielded, the whole 9 yards. Right. So now what do you do? Right. Now you got to go outside the building, download that file. You're in downtime. Whereas this could be critical. It's a hospital or emergency situation. Up and running is important. So I was going to say, if you pull the SD card and slap it like right back in the unit and on boot up, it just goes and checks itself and goes, okay, need to load this, blah, blah, blah. Away we go. Next. right? Your downtime is basically nothing. And again, you're getting unskilled labor to go do it if you're in a pinch, right? Or you can say to the client, I'll send you a new frame. I mean, because this could be in the middle of nowhere, right? I'll send you the frame, go at it. Otherwise, I've got to now book a flight to get to this, to do that, da, da, da. It just makes sense to me that if you're going to make it redundant, make it redundant, like make it idiot proof.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
just a thought.
Thanks for opinion. Yeah.
So
Yep.
briefly, kind of like expanding on that thought. So what I'm thinking is that if every single of these frames have like a small little memory in there, because all over a network anyway. Let's say the first time you upload the program, it sends like a small little copy to all your units. So what happens is that as soon as you change the dial, so it's like because they're all different dials anyway. So and they're all different differentiated. So that small little copy of the program is technically sent over all these processor technically. That means you have like a full redundant system. I mean, if I were just to replace the entire frame, change the dial, it recognized by the dial in the software. Oh, this is like because a serial is different. The serial is different, but the ID is basically indicated that it's that unit's being replaced. It automatically sends that program that's stored somewhere in that memory out right away. Then you back online again. So I think that might be something that is worth thinking about.
There's another way to do a redundant.
Make it
Yes.
complete double proof. Kind of like you can send anyone there now. As long as because if they don't need to understand about all the components, all they need to know is what is in that frame. Like, okay, they have these kind of cards, that kind of area. That's what those kind of settings. Do exact same thing. Don't need to understand anything about it. Change the dial. Boom. Up and running right away.
Frames have frames. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That,
Totally redundant.
yeah. That's a good idea as well.
Think about that.
Mm.
Did that, you could have a backup.
Not only not
For
on
that same-
not only the backup.
you have any- That master goes. And I know. If A of ID 0 is online. ID 01A goes up, that have an ID 0. Can go, oh, I'm taking over. Have a backup frame. And it'd be expensive as hell, but backup frame. Right, although the amplifiers, at least you got something. Right?
Sure.
Yes. Good. Yeah. We think about it with our development teams.
In terms of failure of the frame and the CPU is off on that time, so it doesn't mean this whole system is breakdown. It just mean the functioning of the CPU, like a control in, control out, that section might not be work, but still we can do the paging and all, but it will be all call. So yes, so and this thing, like in terms of emergency or in terms of CPU fail, we on the RM microphone we have a deep switch number I think 5 and 6, which we can disable, and then system will work like normal amplifiers, which will not use the CPU anymore.
Just a thought is, if you say the amplifier modules are hot swappable and the power supply is hot swappable, is the CPU hot swappable in the field?
CPU is a internal memory only. It's not the related to anything.
So you can't change the CPU if the CPU goes down. It's got to be, the whole frame's got to come out, sent back to TOA service and blah, 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 right?
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Okay, let's come to the firmware part. So TOA is always working on the improving the VX3000 series. So they want to make its system better, more flexible, and which should be expandable. And this is all about the feedback from the clients. So whenever we feel any issue in a system, even it's not come from the project or something, but we face, okay, this could be happen, TOA is always work on that. So in the beginning, this system in 2017, it come with the 2.0 version, and after that they just improve with the new firmware, and the latest firmware is 5.3. So what is new in 5.3? First thing, they reduce the control command from VX3000CT, so which can make the improve the efficiency, and they skip the impedance measurement during the broadcast. What was your question, sir? Before they want the system will measure the impedance, so now it can skip during the broadcast, and sleep mode is now automatically cancel during the impedance measurement, so system will not go to the sleep mode on that time. And there was some rare issue, then multiple control output did not activate properly when trigger at same time. So this happened with we have multiple frames, have a different control out. Sometimes there is a issue, and fix a rare issue when any person press the paging mic very fast, too quickly, and sometimes it's not go through the paging, and this was the issue with the 300x and 200 SF microphone, and improve the reset process during emergency warning broadcast, and fix an issue for ANC microphone where the applied setting was not applied on that time. Even we send the setting to the system, it was not affected on ANC section, and improve the system stability for short duration program time events, add a fail safe feature in case of remote microphone timeout or does not work as expected, and fix an issue where remote microphone broadcasts were not sent on same line, and optimize communication between device and combined system configuration. So this is the new updates with the new version. So let's come to the installation part. In installation, uh, each two frames we can put together, and after that we have to give the empty bar for the air for the ventilation. Then again we can use two frame. So system, if we want to add three frame together, it's not possible because of the heat, and yeah, because of the heat, it's not recommended for use three together. After two, it's a mandatory to give the gap in between. And on the power supply, also we have to give the ventilation plate on top and bottom, both sides. So each group of the VX frames, is a mandatory to give the runner under the group. It's not only for transportation, it's a fixed installation. I think it's better to use the runner to give a extra support to the amplifiers. So this is how we can add the module. We have to remove the front panel, as we can see in amplifier in that frame. We remove the front panel, and then we have to slide in the slide the amplifier inside. Then we have to fix the module from the screwdriver. There is a small screw is there in front of the amplifier. We just have to tighten that screw. Then lift and remove the filter and connect the supplied control link connector and output link connector. So we have to put all the connectors. And on the back side of the amplifier, there is a DC power also. So each amplifier, we have to give the DC power supply. the power it will not take from the frame. The power is separate from the frame. This is the ID assignment. So we have total, we have two sections, this A and B. A is any digit in A, we will times to 16. So if it's a digit 1, it will be 16, digit 2, 32, digit 3, 48, 4, it will be going on. And B will be into 1. So like for example, we have a ID A is 0, B is 4. So A multiplied by 0, it will become 0. And 4 multiplied by 1, it will become 1. So total will be, ID will be 4. So in a second situation, we have the A1 and B3. So A1 is 16 and 3 into 1 is a 3. 16 plus 3, the ID will be become 19. And in this system, we can assign the IP address through the deep switch. So in this case, if we assign the ID is a 12 and the IP address will be 13, if ID is 25, IP address will be 26. So it will be a one digit, one extra. Okay. The standard range, the deep switch, and so the one more thing is there. If we want to use the setting software, we have to disable the deep switch 1. So deep switch 1 is the section where we are deciding we want to use the manual IP address, which we can assign through the frame, or we want to use the from the software. So in the IP address range is a fixed range if we want to use the IP address from the frame, which could be 192.168.14.51 to 100. So this is the only 50 IP address we have for the, if we want to set from the frame only. 14.51. If you want to start do through the frame, it will start from 51 only. Dot 51, then next is 52, 53, 54. It will go like this. But if you want to use through this setting software, you can put any IP. Yeah. So this is another example. VX308, 8 zone output can be assigned to 2 different amplifier for any combination. So in this case, we total output will be 350 watt. Even we are using 2 amplifiers, because for example, all the zone is working for a BGM and the total output is 350 watt. And on the same time, there is a on 6 zone, we want to do the paging. So it will reduce the volume of those 6 zones and do the paging on the same time. So it use the 2 different amplifier is a 2 different source lines. So which can be dedicated to amplifier 1 or amplifier 2. So it's not like it will totally break down the system, or it doesn't mean also like if it's a 2 amplifier, it will become 700 watt. It's not. It's a 300 watt only, 350 watt only. Even we are using 2 amplifier, is a 350 watt. Like how we can see here. So zone is add on the amplifier 2 from the amplifier 1, like from the amplifier 1, zone will move to the amplifier 2. This is how system work. And both amplifier, if we consider the maximum output, is a 350 watt. Sorry. So in a 16 zone, 16 3016, it can be 16 zone, which can be become speaker selector only, or we can use same like 3008 with the two amplifiers. It's totally up to us how we want to use the system. So in this case, either it become like all the 16 zone to the one side, or we can split into 8 and 8. So in this case, for example, we have zone 1 to 8 is a separate, and 9 to 16 is separate. And we have a BGM in all the zones. When we do the BGM in zone 2, zone 1 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that will also stop on the same time. Even we have a BGM in zone 2 only. So because we are sharing the amplifier with those zones as well. And the system capability, again, it will, in that case, sorry, this slide, in this case, system will be 700 watt. 700 watt 16 zone. But yeah, there is a limitation. So if we do the paging in a, even in a node that zone, BGM will be stopped in that zone. This is the power connection. So this is the connection and requirement. So connect the amplifier to the 25 ampere type terminal. And there is a specific, they give the cable thickness. So how much should be cable? It should be, if we are using the 150 watt amplifier, it should be 1.5 mm. And for 300 watt should be 1.5 to 2.5 mm. And for the 500 watt, the maximum, the power gate should be, minimum should be 2.5 mm. And connect the frame to the like 5 ampere terminal, which is the DC power supply, which we are providing VX2000. So it's they're talking about that unit. Sure, that we will we can do. Like a I totally understand, sir. Yes, it's like a 1.5 is a 16 AWG 16, and 2.5 is AWG 14. So yeah, we will make these changes in our manual as well. Thank you so much, sir. And the system, it has the four pin terminal backside of the each frame. So, but this we are not recommending to use the parallel connection, like two positive negative input and positive negative output, because this is not a parallel connection in between. This connection is come from the frame itself. So we give the power to the frame, and inside the frame, it from the power supply of the frame, it gives the power to back to the that positive negative output. If we want to use the like 3000 PM, which is the input module, which is taking very less power, or we want to use the 3000 CT, which is the control input output module, then it's totally fine. We can do that. But if we want to do the parallel connection to the module, then we are not recommending to do that because of the power restriction. And also there is a one more thing. In case of failure, as I mentioned, the power is coming from inside the frame. It's not only just parallel connection. So if it's the one frame is fail, it can fail whole the system. So that's why we are not recommending to use the connection like this. But the parallel connection we can do, like we will not take the output from the input and output and take the another input output, but we can make the parallel connection like this, which is totally acceptable as long as we have the ampere is match. Let's discuss about the remote microphones. We can add 8 remote microphone can be connected to per frame. on RS link 1 and RS link 2, and the current should not be more than 1 ampere in each line. So that's why, and the cable length is a maximum 1,200 meter. In this case, if we can see, like we have the 4 different type of microphones which have the 4 different ampere. If we want to use RM200SF is a 240 ampere, and RM300X is a 240 ampere. We can use 4 to the each line, but as Kin mentioned in the previous presentation, we can add in each microphone 7 RM210F. So if we calculate the wattage, like if we add like RM200SF plus 1 RM210F, which is 80, and total ampere will become 320 ampere. And if we use 4 microphone in a system, it will become total 1280 milliampere. It's 1.2 ampere or 1.3 ampere, which is more than 1 ampere. And this frame can only allow 1 ampere only. So in this case, we have to use the external power supply, which is VXRJBQJ. So this power supply allowed to give the external power. This device is allowed to give the external power supply to the microphones. So the each line microphone should be same, like a 4 in each line, but we can make a different combination. Like even the ampere goes to 2 ampere, 2.5 ampere for the maximum capacity of the system. Still, it will work with the external power supply. Yes, sir. It's a device. It's a small device. It will be in rack side. It will be a card only. Yes. So this is the EN54 component. This is the European safety standard. And it's the same like how in Canada we have ULC rated. So in this case, we can use up to 8 remote microphones can be connect total, and maximum 2 emergency microphone can be connect to the system, and only 1 emergency remote microphone may be connect to the single RS link. So in a RS link, we can just connect the 1 remote microphone in terms of if we want to use the ULC rating. This is a European standard. So, but in Canadian standard, we can use 8 microphones. Yes, there is a message from one of our in our chat. So they want to know about the cable, which type of cable we can use for the RM microphones. We specifically have to use the shielded cable because the normal Cat6 only have the 8 wires, and we need 8. So as I mentioned, it have 8 contacts in each contact input. So, and the shielded will be the common. So exactly, we have to use the Cat6A minimum. Sure. So as we're discussing about the EN54, this is the European standard, and only 1 emergency remote microphone may be we can connect to the RS link. And in this case, the microphone should be installed as close as. So emergency mic should be the first microphone when we install in a EN54, like safety standards. So first it will go to the emergency mic, then it can go to the wherever we want to send. after that. So if it's the link, like we want to use 4 microphone in line, so first will be the emergency mic. Then in each remote microphone, we have the deep switch. So first 3 switch we can assign the ID, and other like 5 and 6 can be turn off the CPU. CPU is we can turn off only in emergency, like we want to bypass the whole system. Like in terms of failure, system failure, and we know there is a failure is happen, or something is not working properly, we can turn off the CPU and we can do the emergency call from the remote microphone. Exactly. In that case, in terms of emergency, you can just turn off the deep switch, so you don't have to dial anything. Just press the button, do the emergency call. And there is a surveillance is also there. We can monitor the microphone capsule, if is a microphone working or not. Is a factory preset is it's by default is turned on, and we can use the external microphone also. And also we can use the phono jack for as a music input, which is the factory reset is factory setting is the default is off. So we have to turn on from the microphone. We have to open the microphone. There's a inside there is the jumpers. We can do from the jumpers. So let's come to the network connections. Like for example, we don't have a Ethernet, and this is the local network only. We can connect up to 8 frames, link between one frame to another frame without any network connection. So there is we can see the LAN A, LAN B is there. So LAN A, we will take the cable from LAN B and feed to the LAN A, and it will be repeat till 8th frame. So in this way, system can communicate without any Ethernet connection. So the network connection with the Ethernet switch. So this is like we will use the 2 switch. For example, this is the 2 buildings, and in between we have the Ethernet, and this is how we can connect the systems. Like it can communicate with through the network in this case. So each audio bus, it will take 768 kb for per bus. So per bus mean like 3004 have the 4 audio bus, like because it have the 4 amplifier module, and 8 have 2 audio bus, and 16 have only 1 audio bus on the same time. So each bus is take 768 kb, and if we have like 32 frames, okay, the system can take almost, if it's a 32 bus, it can take almost 98 MB on the same time. The network should be capable for the 100 MB if we want to operate the system like a flexibly. This is a standby amplifier. Standby amplifier can be shared, can be connected with any frame type. There's no any restriction, like we can share the standby amplifier with like we have 3004, and second is 3008, third is 3016. The standby amplifier can be shared with any frame. There's no restriction, and maximum 8 frame can share the standby amplifier, not more than 8. And then there is a standby link is there. So there is a standby input and standby output is there backside of the frame. So we have to give the jumper between all the frames, so it can feed the amplifier output to each frame. Then there is another feature is a zone extension. For example, like we have a very big school and there's a multiple classrooms, and each classroom we have only 5 watt, and but the classroom is like we have maybe 50 classroom. In this case, we will not use 316 frame like with individual amplifier. We have to use it, sorry, in this case, we don't have to give the separate amplifier to the each frame. So one frame we can extend, like we can put the cable, extension cable from one frame to another frame. And so 16 zone, it will take from the first frame. Next 16, it will take from the second frame. And next, it will take from the third frame. So it can, system can become 48 zone with single amplifier. Yes, it is. Uh, First, it itself have the amplifier. First, like the first frame, it already have the amplifier, standby amplifier inside. No, it should be on the first frame only. We have to use the first frame as a backup amplifier. But backup amplifier, mostly it's not in use. So
I know that. Even if it's sitting there doing nothing, things happen. How do you know if your backup amplifier is gonna work? It doesn't fail.
So the question will be, can we share the power backup power amplifier? So that means if all the frames is installed the backup amplifier, can we share those how can we share those backup amplifiers? I think that's more. So for example, if we have like one, so this one is already installed, so we can share it to second and third one. That's fine. So if I have another backup amplifier in the second and the third one, can I share back to the one or the second? So this, I think this is the question.
oh, okay, if we have on third, we have to take an output and we have to tell to system in this case.
From here to the first.
Exactly. We have to tell to the system this backup amplifier where you want to share. But we have to be careful about the connections. So we have to take an output and again we have to feed to the first one.
Yeah, so I believe that you can do that. So yeah, you can, but because from this diagram, you see that it's all the way from the top and the down, 1, 2, 3. But yeah, so but and then yes, you treat that as the first one. So the third one, yes, I believe we can do that.
Yeah, it's totally depend on the system, but again we have to tell to the system this is the unit where is the backup amplifier, and then we can tell okay it can go up or it can go down. So again we have to take an output and feed to that. So same input output it will goes.
Yeah, let us confirm about this point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And there is a like we can extend the zones with the like if we have a 16 zone, and in this case it's only possible with the 8 zone and 16 zone. 4 zone we will not able to expand the zones. In this case it should be the same frame type. Okay, if we are using 3008, the next extension we want to add, it should be 3008. It should not be different. And maximum 3 frame can be extend. So if is a 3008, it can become 24 zones. And if this is the 3016, it can become 48 zones with a single amplifier. This is the impedance measurement. Okay, and before tell to the system measure the impedance, we have to make sure we don't have any short circuit or open circuit, because whenever it take the impedance, that impedance will be fixed in the system at the same time. And for the better way, if we use the multimeter or the impedance meter, that's a better to get the reading. So we have to make sure. And to assign that, we have to open the frame, open the front cover of the frame, and we have to press the small button is there to initialize the impedance, and wait until the run indicator change to slow blinking. So once it starts slow blinking, it means it take the all the reading, impedance reading. So this is how it will work. So that's it. So this is the end of the hardware and connection and installation session. If you guys have any question related to that, so you can ask.
Reading? Do we have like faulty reading, so we can either range of reading, so you can justify that this is faulty or no?
Yes, like there is a percentage there is there. Like for example, our reading is on 100%, like 100% accurate. So we can set the percentage. If it's come like less than 50%, because if there is a short, it will 100%, it will go less than 50%. So then it will show as a short circuit. And if it's increased, like it's on 100 and now it become like 101 or 102, it will show as an open circuit. Like for example, our impedance is set on if we have impedance is like for example is 100 ohm, and when the impedance go to 50 ohm, it will consider a short circuit. And if impedance become 102 ohm, it will become open circuit.
That reading is with load. How about the system itself? Can we test the impedance system itself before exclude don't include the load? Like the device itself, can we test the impedance? Making sure that like there is no abnormalities before putting the load.
Device
System impedance we have.
Yeah, so I think that has to be tested separately. So the system itself cannot treat as a testing tool. So I think if you after you do the speaker installation, so you need to do the measurement of the existing line. So before that, and then you can make sure that it's under your calculation expectation. So at that point, you just hook up to the amplifier. The surveillance of the frame itself is something to do with when you put in a reference number, for example, 10 ohm. So if that's so you also you set up the threshold. If the 10 ohms deviate or the change to whatever extent, and it will trigger the alarm. So if you have a system already in a newly installed or existing system, if you want to track the impedance first to compare to the power of the amplifier, so I need to do that first. And after that, and then make sure that the wire is in a correct impedance value, and then you connect to the amp. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
So do we have any question there?
Let me see this. So there's a question regarding that the log. So is the main with the front panel indicators reflect in a log, like a is the front panel generating indicator will also appear in the software logs, but I believe not all. So I would like to
Only
add
the emergency.
yeah, and the
And the
faulty
fault
of
only.
the frame. Not every indicators on the front panel will display will be shown on the log.
So the question is like a front indicator. All the indicator make the log in a software. So the answer is like only in case of emergency or fault, whatever the indicator is blink, it create the log. And the system test is there, so we can see the what time system test itself automatically, and only those things make a log only, not the each indicator or everything.
There's no questions from here.
There's no more question.
Notice in the system you got here, when you go in the back, there's like great big huge DC cables, like, and terminals exposed. How does that go with like CSA ratings or wiring standards? There's no covers on all the wires. So you've got DC floating around, like high voltage DC or high amperage DC floating around in the back of your rack. How does that go with the Canadian or the North American wiring standard? Because normally, like in a car, you'd have to have a rubber boot up your batteries, or if something fell down in the rack and landed on something. Same thing on the back of your frames. There's like very big thick DC cables that could possibly short out, or somebody could drop something on, or like a wrench, screwdriver, whatever. Is there any covers that go over that? I know
Yes.
there's one on one of the, like there's a triangular looking thing,
Yeah, good
but
offer.
there's not on all of them.
Good observation. So because that the battery we have is the third party, so we're supposed to be put on set kind of a caps on that. But for the back of that unit, you see that the frames for the high voltage module with frames, there's a cover at the back of that particular device, so it has to be put on. But in order for the standard of the CSA, I need to double check with that. So what kind of rubber or what kind of
Well, I know some of way back when, it was always that
yeah,
plastic
plastic, yes,
plastic
with,
cover.
yeah.
It just went over the terminal, so you couldn't get your fingers in it.
Yeah.
But I noticed like even on the power supply unit, there's no cover on.
Yeah,
those
for the,
terminals.
yeah, this,
I mean, maybe they
yeah.
didn't get put on when you built the rack.
yeah, because of the third, yeah, we
You've
just,
got a lot of voltage and amperage that could do a lot of damage back
Mhm.
there.
right,
So-
good observation, yes.
Yeah.
It should, yes, it has to be, it should be put in
Sure.
the
Especially-
protections.
Plenum rated environment.
Yeah.
You know, you got fire ratings, what have you, it's gotta be covered up, otherwise you can't have exposed terminals. I
Right.
just wondered if there was, if it just wasn't put on, or it comes with it, or you have to provide your own, or.
They have to provide by our own, so it didn't come with us, with the battery, because the battery is a
I
third
can
party.
understand the batteries, because your batteries
Mm.
are both third party, you
Yeah.
don't have to have the
Mm.
batteries. It's recommended you do, but you don't have to. But any of the other jumpers between your power supplies, your battery frame that you got there, and then the main frames,
Oh, you mean the mean well, also the mean, so that the mean well frame is a third party. It I'm not 100% sure is come with that particular plastic device, but yes, it has to be put on the plastic protection behind the mean well. Yes.
Amplifier frame is not come with that part.
Yeah,
but
but,
in this one we use the normal terminal block, so wire will not be exposed for the frames. But when we use the amplifier, then it will be exposed.
So
If we put 4-pin terminal here, so the wire will go here
yeah,
only.
but the
Yeah, there is no cover on top of that.
the mean well. So the mean well is the output from the main frame. So there has to be some kind of protection before
For
it
the
come-
amplifier,
No, not for the amplifier. It's for the back. Yeah.
but you got, like on the double power supply here.
The main well. Yeah.
Those covers there,
Yeah, since that meanwhile is we suggest to come with our VX3000 system, so we will take a look of that meanwhile as well, the power supply, and see whether there's any protection for the high voltage of particularly high ampere of the DC voltage. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It might happen. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it leads to do we have any question? It leads to our the end of the first morning sessions. So the afternoon sections will be start at 1, eh? Let's start at 1. Okay. Yeah. So see you back at 1 p.m. then. Thank you very much.
Dr. Science.